Although it has now been 7 months since the July flood, donations for flood victims have not stopped. We met up with one group today to find out why their generosity continues.
And one man is asking for help finding the family of a soldier who died in 1918.
And we continue to watch the potential for more heavy rain and more gusty winds moving toward the region. Breaking down the threats ahead as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
7 months following the flood that ravaged several parts of the region, and 2 years to the day after another one in 2021. One Western Kentucky organization was in Perry County to help folks who are still in need.
WYMT's Alyssa Williams was at County Line Community Church to learn more.
Immediately following July's devastating flood, County Line Community Church in Perry County became a staple for those who are trying to rebuild their lives. And even 7 months later, church members are still serving those in need.
It feels good to still be working and still be helping folks. A lot of times after the big event is over and the flood's gone away and it's not making the news, a lot of people tend to forget, but those families are still here, they're still hurting, they still have needs that need to be met.
To help in these efforts, For Good Community of Henderson, Kentucky set up at the church to deliver truckloads of food, clothing, furniture, and other items.
We're just blessed to be able to have that opportunity to make a difference and take, the extra resources from our economy, from these retailers and other organizations, and put them into the areas that are most needed.
Impacting flood survivors like Melda White of Breathitt County.
Well, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. But, I thank God every day that there are people out here to help.
Representatives with For Good Community say their work isn't ending here.
So with our mobile buses, we try to make reappearances every few months. So we should be back in this area probably within, anywhere from 60 to 90 days.
Showing that generosity extends beyond county lines. In Perry County, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
County Line Community Church leaders say they will be hosting more recovery groups to help those in the area, and they will also be hosting more food giveaways in the near future.
Mingo County, West Virginia 911 dispatchers say crews were sent to a house fire in Williamson earlier this afternoon. This is some aerial footage into the newsroom of that scene. The incident was reported around 2:15 p.m. in the 200 block of Mulberry Street. Again, this is right across the border in Williamson. No injuries have been reported. Crews from the Williamson and Chattaroy volunteer fire departments are there. Police found a body in the water near the Kentucky and Tennessee state line this morning. A Facebook post from the Whitley County Sheriff's Department says Whitley County Dispatch received a call from the Jellicoe Police Department about a potential body in Elk Creek behind the Save-A-Lot on US 25. When deputies arrived, the body was found in the creek. The Whitley County Sheriff's Office is conducting an investigation.
2 raids in 2 days led to several bags of meth, marijuana, heroin, fentanyl, and drug paraphernalia being taken off the streets in Hazard. The first raid happened yesterday. Police say they stopped a car leaving a known drug house they had been watching as part of an investigation. The second happened today. Police served a search warrant and raided a Gorman Hollow home. Drugs were seized during both stops. At least 4 people were arrested during the incidents, but their names have not been released.
Officials charged 58-year-old Daryl Jones of Middlesboro with manslaughter on Monday. Officials with the Middlesboro Police Department said they were contacted by a family member in July 2022 to investigate the death of Monica Seals. A Bell County Coroner's Office report says Seals died from drug toxicity on June 18, 2022. Jones was already jailed in the Bell County Detention Center on theft, non-payment of court fines, failure to appear, and drug charges.
Police discovered 2 stolen cars in different counties this week. In Harlan County, officers say 19-year-old Caleb Kreider was arrested after police say a Jeep was stolen from the Cumberland area. In Clay County, 41-year-old Anthony Collins of Manchester was arrested after he was located inside his home with the keys of a different stolen vehicle. Yesterday, London police said a Hyden man was found slumped over in a running car on the side of Hal Rogers Parkway.
30-year-old Derek Blake Adams was arrested and charged with driving under the influence, failure to produce an insurance card, and failure to wear a seatbelt. After searching the car, officers said they found several Fireball whiskey buckets and 40 empty airplane-sized bottles of Fireball. Officers also said Adams failed several field sobriety tests. In February, Kentucky Senate Bill 115 was introduced in the state Senate. This bill would target, quote, adult-oriented businesses and entertainment. One thing quoted in the bill is focused around drag performances, leading to those with Pikeville Pride as well as LGBTQ allies opposing the bill. Jasmine Mead, a Pikeville business owner and LGBTQ ally, says the language used in the bill is dangerous and limits the right for those in the LGBTQ community to express themselves freely and safely.
This hate legislation, that's what it's truly rooted in, is spreading all over the United States right now, and it's a very scary time for our neighbors and our children and our brothers and sisters.
Mead adds that the drag shows at events such as Pikeville Pride are nothing but family friendly, and she takes her children every year. We'll have more from Mead as well as from those who support SB 115 tonight at 11.
State lawmakers have advanced a bill to address the controversial parking rate increases in downtown Lexington.
That's Senate Bill 75 and comes after a large public outcry after parking fees and rates were changed.
The Parking Authority did reverse some recent increases, but as WYMT's Phil Pendleton explains, the bill would set up the requirement for the urban county government to review future budget and rate hike requests.
Senator Damon Thayer says a lot of business owners came to him when it became more expensive to park in downtown Lexington.
And I also heard about a nightmare scenario where their employees had to leave their shifts every 2 hours to move their cars or put more money in the meters.
Lexpark raised rates and began charging for later at night and on Saturdays. That's since been rolled back, and its chairman admitted today that mistakes were made.
And I will give all the due credit to you, Senator. I agree that the rollout was horrific. It was horrible. It wasn't done the way it should have been done, and for that I take full credit for.
Thayer says his bill is needed to prevent further issues down the road.
Senate Bill 75 simply says that the budgets for Lexpark and any future parking rate increases need to be approved by City Council.
The bill passed in committee 7-1 with one lawmaker wanting to pass. And while it only addresses future rate increases, Thayer says there's already been victories for those impacted by the parking situation.
To be fair to Lexpark, they backtracked on that pretty quickly for the employees.
Frazier questions if another law is needed when they've already made changes.
With all due respect, I don't think we need Frankfurt to tell our local people how to deal with our problems. And they were an issue, Senator. I agree with you.
If the bill becomes law, it'll only impact Lexington. But Thayer says a floor amendment could be added to name other governments. In Frankfurt, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
The bill will next be heard on the full Senate floor.
Well, it's been a cloudy, at least filtered sunshine kind of day throughout the region as we broke record highs at both Jackson and London today. We are seeing a pretty nice little sunset out there in some spots, especially as those westerly clouds start to work on in from the west. And I think we'll see some nice images tonight. Low to mid 70s region wide. We'll continue to see temperatures slowly fall, but we are watching the potential for showers and storms later. Clean sweep now, but look out to the west. Already seeing strong thunderstorms to the west as that cold front gets a little bit closer. Let's zoom in. Tornado watches down near Memphis and a severe thunderstorm warning out near the Owensboro area right now. The Storm Prediction Center has said they're not going to issue a watch for our region tonight, but a couple of strong storms can't be ruled out with that level 1 marginal risk of severe storms tonight. I think we have a bigger threat, though, as we head toward Friday. For us tonight, 57 showers and storms in place, with a touch of breezy conditions. It's not too breezy out there. We'll save that again for the day on Friday. I'll have details on when we return to a stormier pattern again in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Evan. One Paintsville man is working to bring recognition to a local veteran who died more than 100 years ago.
WYMT's Buddy Forbes explains how one man's trash became another man's testimonial.
All gave some, but these men gave all.
Inside of the Grunts Rucksack in Paintsville, you will find a corner of local history.
All of his personal effects, it just brings him to life, and I believe it honors him.
A place where every piece has a story.
When the last time this was worn, the last person to touch this, it could have been a naval nurse that packed his bag after his death and the line of duty investigation was completed, or it could have been his father.
When veteran, history buff, and store owner Doug Salyer heard about a trunk from World War I that was heading to the dump, he knew it instead belonged on display.
It's addressed to Mr. Calvin Clark, Prestonsburg, Kentucky, and here we have R.C. Clark.
As a memorial for local Navy veteran Reuben Calvin Clark.
Even though we may have never known him, you can come in and get a look at this stuff and possibly get to know him.
With only the items in the trunk, Salyer began his research, finding that the 19-year-old died of the Spanish flu in 1918.
Since we just experienced COVID-19, we went through the same thing. In our generation, more people can relate to this than they can anything else.
And his belongings, including handwritten letters, clothing, and childhood items, have since been preserved by time, finding the eyes of a veteran who wants them seen by more.
I was just trying to put myself in his shoes of imagining what he's going through writing this, because I've been deployed and I wrote a lot of letters, but I can't imagine being in medical detention writing a letter.
But in order to provide the display he deserves, Salyer is hoping to find any familial links in the community.
What we're really asking is for help.
To give the veteran a face and solidify his place in local history. In Paintsville, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Clark's name is on the courthouse memorial and the Archer Park Memorial in Prestonsburg, so Salyer is hoping to find family or at least a photo. If you have any information, you can contact him on the Grunts Rucksack Facebook page.
Well, continuing to watch an unsettled pattern work back into the region as we try to finish out this work week. We're breaking that down coming up after this. Plus,
this week is Severe Weather Awareness Week in Kentucky, and we'll take a look at how one elementary school is preparing for the worst.